Hey guys, Clayton and Andy here, Springfield Leather. This is Andy's debut video with us. He's going to be helping us walk through the Midtown bucket bag pattern that we've had for a while. We've got some written instructions for it. Here, why don't we show you? Say hi, Andy.
Hello.
Say hi, Andy.
Yeah. So this is a pattern that we've had for quite a while. It was actually developed in the first year or two that I started working here in the shop. But we've got some written instructions that are a little lengthy. They're not the greatest, so we figured we'd do a video instruction for you guys. Hopefully clear up any questions that you guys might have if you try to attempt this bag. It's really not too bad. It's pretty nice and finished. We'll show you what the finished product looks like. Andy did this earlier last week, I guess. Out of, what is this, Andy?
Some economy suede.
Yeah. So, nice economical piece of leather to get us some practice with, but it turned out great. It's got this nice French rolled top edge up here. All the seams are turned inwards. It's really a pretty finished little purse. It'd be super easy to drop a liner into if you wanted to. That's not included in the pattern, but it really wouldn't be too hard to modify. So what kind of leather are we working with here today?
I've already forgot. Venetian wine and Venetian
Latte. Right?
Yep.
Both of them beverages. Yeah, no, we've this Venetian leather, it comes to us in a 2 to 3 ounce. We do get it in full hides, which makes it great for a lot of upholstery projects. I'll recommend it a lot of times for people that are redoing furniture, or even some automotive applications. But it's nice and flexible. It's got a smooth, distressed grain. It's not as pebbled as some of your other upholstery leathers, but nice soft hands, so it should make a nice bag. So what have we already done here?
We've cut out our parts, and we've also skived any edges that we needed to. So when we fold them and do our rolled edges, it's quite a bit easier.
Yeah, so we got a fair bit of prep done for you guys. As usual, we like to cut the parts out. We feel like that's boring enough. You don't want to watch us do that. We've got all of our pattern pieces cut out here. I don't know how, yeah, you can see most of those. So what he did was he took our paper pattern and used some, I assume, some spray adhesive.
Yep.
And just spray adhesive it right onto the Bontex that we sell. Just a kind of a harder cardstock to make these patterns more durable and reusable. Now, one important thing, there's a few important things to note on the pattern here. Obviously, all of the hole punches that are in there for any type of hardware, or and then a lot of these sewing notches. So you can see this is the bottom gusset. So it's got these sewing notches there and there, which will actually help mark the center of the bag to make sure everything lines up whenever you start assembling the gusset. There you go. So yeah, sewing notches on the pattern there, on that side. And those will line up with the notches right there. Once we start to assemble the bag, these will start to line up and make sure everything's nice and centered. And that'll be kind of important on this one, especially since we decided to go with some contrasting colors, right? Because if we end up getting off center, you're going to notice it.
Yep.
Awesome. So what are we going to be sewing this on today?
Class 26.
All right. Is that your preferred machine for this project?
Yes. I'm just a little bit more familiar with it. I've got one at home. We were able to install a flatbed on it last minute, so that helps out quite a bit.
Should make it quite a bit easier. All right.
Just have one sitting around handy.
Yep.
Yeah. Jesse's a pretty handy guy. We asked for it, and he pulled one out like 5 minutes later. Let's go ahead and get started. We've got a little ways to go on this thing. So if we want to go kind of follow the instructions and
yep.
the order they go in, that way hopefully if you guys are attempting this, you can kind of follow along in both formats. So starting out, obviously it has you trace all of your pattern pieces out. Like I said, it's great to put it on Bontex so it's more reusable. Make sure to note where all of your hole punches and sewing notches are, and then go ahead and trace and cut out your pattern pieces out of leather. Alright, so we've got all that done. What's next? So assembling the gusset is basically the first few steps, right? And so that's not too bad. We've got our gusset bottom here. I'll get some of these out of your way. 2 gusset sides with 2 pockets. So in the instructions, why don't you walk us through this? What did you already do here, and what are we going to do?
I've cut out the pieces, of course. I thinned down the edge. Somewhere in there it says to do that.
Yep. So you did a 1/2 inch skive across each of the short edges of the gusset, and then we're going to roll those over, correct?
Yep.
So we'll use some, looks like he's going for the 1/4 inch basting tape here. It's a nice move. Might just sit back and narrate this. Like calling the game. I think Tony could probably call the game pretty well. Hey, up.
Probably. Oh, will you hold up the finished bag again? Molly missed that part of it.
The what?
The finished bag that we already did.
You got it. So there's the finished bag. It's the Midtown bucket. So like the main features, got this French rolled edge across the top. We've got a magnetic flap closure as well as a zipper closure on the interior. The zipper gusset is assembled somewhat cleverly to allow the bag to zip close and keep all of your content safe inside. And then it's got your back pocket. They're pretty simple bag overall, just a really nice finished look. And then like a short arm strap. Alright, so he's doing our 1/4 inch rolled edge on each side of the short ends of the bottom gusset. And then from there it's going to have you do the same thing to the short edge of the top of what'll be the gusset pockets. So we're going to go ahead and roll those edges, and then we'll stitch across those, since those will be open pockets.
So you're just doing that with basting tape?
Inside there, it keeps going back from glue to tape. It's all personal preference at this point, but
yeah, as far as rolling these edges, you can use either cement or the basting tape.
Is that real regular, just contact cement?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what leather you're using, right? So with this is a pretty dry chrome tan upholstery type leather. So the basting tape works great. Regular leather cement like Barge All-Purpose or Masters Leathercraft cement would work great. If you're using like a real oily leather, I like to use Neo-Weld a lot of times because it'll actually stick to a lot of that oily or waxy leather, and it stays tacky. It doesn't smell the best, but it does work pretty well. And it never fully cures. It doesn't cure hard, so it stays nice and flexible. Alright, got those rolled. So next step is going to be placing your gusset pockets onto your gussets. Right?
yep.
You can probably just slide that granite over there if you need to, so we can, if you have any more handling.
How far do I need to place them in?
Alright, so your pockets will be placed flush with the bottom of this gusset.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and, well, hold on now. We don't want to forget, we will have to stitch the tops of those pockets. We'll want to stitch those rolled edges.
I'm just going to put a piece right here.
Yep, and then
you
you'll
want to sew them first.
go ahead and stitch across the tops of those.
Okay.
Right? And then we'll stick it down on the 3 edges of the pocket onto your side gussets. Now, will you want to use basting tape to stick those pockets down, or cement?
Probably basting tape would be fine.
Okay.
The only thing I think cement would work good on is the pocket that goes on the back to go around the corners.
All right. Look at that, he's already got a shot of the sewing machine. A nice close-up of Andy's hands.
I haven't checked the tension on this yet, so I'm going to run it on a single piece and we'll see how it looks.
That's why we do it live. Doesn't look too bad.
Just need some scissors.
Nelson says hello from Peru.
Well, hey, man, I'd love to visit you sometime. I'd love to go to Peru. So we'd like to visit Chile.
Like
Go to Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
So we had some questions about lining it. Clayton, what would you do for the lining part of it? Since we're not going to line this one.
Well, if you're wanting to do a leather lining, you know, I wouldn't use anything over 2-3 for sure. And honestly, if you could find something a little bit thinner, even if you did like a garment limb, this is really meant to be a soft body bag, right?
Right.
So it's not going to have a whole lot of structure. The way that this is constructed, you'd be doing a drop-in liner.
Yeah.
So it's gonna need to stay flexible. The way I would do it, it would only be attached around the top edge of the bag. So, yeah, your garment lamb, or tobacco lamb. I've used that for a lot of liners on bags. You could even use some of this same 2 to 3 ounce upholstery type leather. It would just make it a little bit bulkier. How's your stitch length on that? Pretty good.
Just about right.
Yeah. I usually prefer a shorter stitch length over longer. So what made you pick these colors?
Clayton and I were both very undecided on colors, so we just kind of picked two that looked like they would work well together. And
Two guys picking out leather.
Yeah. So usually we have Liz. I have Liz do this for me. She's got a much better eye for color than I do. But we'll see how it turns out. I'm usually pretty good at turning down her decisions until she comes up with something good. So that's kind of how we operate.
And I just pulled the threads to the back. It's all personal preference, but when you finish off your thread, you're not going to see it on the front. You won't ever see it on the back.
You guys have a coffee pot in here yet?
No.
Okay. Keurig maybe? A little pour over setup.
Okay. Nick says we should get a sponsorship.
Keurig.
Get a Keurig sponsorship?
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and stick down 3 sides of this gusset pocket to the base of the gusset. And so the bottom edges just get flushed up.
Marcus tuning in from Germany. Said he almost missed because they switched to DST. Whatever that is.
Now Andy, I imagine you're going to want to stick down 3 sides of that gusset pocket, yeah?
3 sides?
Yeah, the base and the 2 sides of it. That way it all stays together whenever you try to stick it down to the main body later.
Yes.
Otherwise we're going to be flapping in the wind trying to sew it together. Alright, so once we get that stuck down, then we'll assemble the side gussets to the bottom. And then move on to the flap closure, which I think is the most exciting part.
Yeah, maybe daylight savings time.
What are you talking about?
Marcus was saying that he almost missed it because he was on DST. Other way.
Isn't that this weekend?
There you go.
Yeah, this weekend coming up.
They do crazy things in Germany, so I don't know.
Sounds terrible.
Oh, he did say daylight savings time. He said they switched back to normal last weekend. So it's 5 p.m. instead of the normal 6 p.m.
Yikes. I supply the coffee gear and they'll brew it.
Yeah, Abigail.
Abigail the tree hugger.
All right, what's the next step?
Glad she still has a presence in these videos. Next step is going to be assembling your base to your side gussets, right? And so your base is going to overlap your side gusset by 1 inch up from the bottom. Now in the instructions, it does use it labels these parts with letters. So your bottom piece, which is over on Andy's granite right now, is labeled B. Your gusset pockets, which would be these red parts, that's going to be part D, and then the actual side gussets are part C. Hopefully that'll confuse somebody.
Stacy said the video's popping with all that yellow in there.
Dude, if I would have known he was going to wear the yellow shirt. I've got like 6 gray ones in my closet, and I had to pick the yellow one today.
It's the only one I have.
I know. All right, so we're going to go ahead and want to stitch those together, yes?
Yes.
And then at that point, our gusset will be completely assembled.
Unplug the camera.
Looks kind of cool. Looks like the grill on a car or something.
Just stitch across here.
Yep. So I'd use about an 1/8 inch seam allowance across those rolled edges, and stitch across the bottom of those pockets. What's going on, guys? Emergency?
Holly, unplug the camera. Here you go. Terry asked, are these pockets on the outside?
Yes.
Correct. Exterior gusset pockets.
Should have brought 2 pairs of scissors.
I do the same thing. Mine migrate back and forth. I don't know if I got another pair of quick snips in here. There we go. So yeah, leave those over there.
Is a class 26 good for sewing thinner leather?
It can be. It's good for a little of both. And it's the same, basically as a 20, but a 20 is strictly a flatbed.
Yeah, that work platform having on there really helps out quite a bit sewing softer projects that lay flat. Just like we said just before the video, we didn't have a work platform on this 26, so at that point it's just a cylinder arm machine, and it would be much more difficult.
Do you have the item number on this pattern?
I think I asked you right before the video started, like, you got all your item numbers, bro?
I do not have the item number.
For the moment.
Yes.
I don't have it either. Sorry.
Oh, cool.
Cool. It is the Midtown bucket.
144-120.
See, you had it the whole time.
Yeah, no.
All right, so how much leather do you usually have to buy to do this bag? If you're just doing it the way we are, without a liner or anything.
I kind of did the rough estimate. Minimum 4. That's kind of questionable because you've got to get a long piece out here. I put recommended 15.
Wait, you said minimum
Minimum 10.
10. Yeah,
Yep.
you said 4. I was gonna say
Oh.
4 is pretty
Did
small.
I say 4?
I think so.
I don't know.
Minimum 10 square feet of leather. Like you said, can be challenging if you really want to get by with that because you got to get a pretty long piece out of it. We always recommend buying plenty. That way, especially if you're purchasing an odd lot leather, if you end up running out, we can't guarantee you'll get the same leather again or be able to purchase it again. All right, so we got our gusset fully assembled, stitched, threads burned. So we'll start assembling the closure flap, right? So we're going to take our cutout piece. We've got one piece of the closure flap already cut out according to the pattern. Andy's going to go ahead and mark the center where the closure goes.
Can you move over a little bit towards Clayton?
Scooch over here. There we go. So he's got the pattern piece over the leather. You don't mark through it.
Was that mark on the pattern itself, or did you eyeball it?
This was on the pattern.
Okay.
And that'll be the center of your closure. And what closure are we using?
We're using a 1/2 inch nickel-plated magnetic closure.
I'm just going to take that piece and make an impression with both prongs. That way he knows where to cut. We'll cut a couple slits and set the closure in this piece.
Oh, there's a cutting board behind you too if you need that.
Thank you, Tony.
Sorry.
You're good. All right. So we've got the female side of our magnetic closure, or the male side, I'm sorry, of our magnetic closure set in the flap. So then we've got this other piece of leather that we're going to, what I'll usually do is I'll trace this out so that I know exactly where to glue. And then we'll spread glue on that and stick them together. Let's see if I can't get prepared for the next thing here. And after this, we're going to be preparing the tabs. That's no big deal. We'll have that in just a jiffy. Get those on the gussets, and then we'll move on to the main body.
The main reason we're doing this way, instead of cutting 2 of these out, having a little bit of differentiation on them, when you glue them together, you might be off and your edges won't line up as well. So we'll glue them together and then trim it.
There's your glue. Now we'll go ahead and grab the tabs and help you start prepping those.
What type of glue are you using?
Well, you're using the TF Boy glue pot.
Yes. This is
It's a basic leathercraft cement. It's a cement we use here in the shop. I don't think we have it actually listed on the website. You can purchase it here if you come in store, but it's called Van Grip. It comes from a local chemical company that we purchase it from. But it's really similar to any kind of solvent-based leather crafting contact cement, like barge all-purpose. Is probably what it's closest to. We usually use this stuff here in the shop because we're able to buy it in bulk, either by the drum or 5-gallon buckets.
Mike said it's fun watching boys run sewing machines.
All right. So while he's gluing that, I'll go ahead and start helping out with the tabs, I guess. So these are the tabs, strap hanger tabs, right? So we're going to measure 2 1/4 inch from the tip of each of these, and I'll make a mark. work. Don't you dare give me that center finding ruler. Got a thing about center finding rulers. I think they're just cheating. Alright.
You say it's just cheating?
It's just cheating, man. Just, you know, use your math skills.
Is that like your nunchuck skills?
Exactly. 2 1/4 up. Transfer these marks over. Basically, this is just going to mark where you glue it to. Where you glue up to. Right? And that way they're stuck down evenly. I'll let that tack up for a minute. I've got my 2 round rings. Did we bring a hairdryer in here?
You don't have to. We have one. We have our
Wow.
own studio hairdryer. Speed up the process.
Oh, yes, to help the fumes evaporate a little bit quicker, get tacky quicker.
Hey Clayton, we had a question if we could show the 26 table. Can you talk a little bit about it while we're just gluing pieces together?
The 26 work platform?
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically without the work platform, the 26 is just like a class 3 or class 4 in that it's a cylinder arm machine. With the work platform attached to it, here, I can rotate the machine around a little bit so you can kind of see how it bolts on there. Am I going to yank anything around?
I don't think so. It's probably locked down though.
Oh, yeah. Alright, so you can see how it just bolts on the other side, underside here with some wing nuts, and it just gives you a work platform level with the feed dog, right? And that makes it much easier for softer materials. You're able to guide it with 2 hands. Am I in the right?
Yep,
Okay.
you're good.
You're able to guide it with 2 hands right across there and keep everything flat. With a cylinder arm machine, it's a little more difficult because you'd be supporting the material out here with your hands, or I've even had to support it on the back of the cylinder arm as it feeds through. It just makes it much easier if you're wanting to do lighter weight projects. And again, the Class 26 is great for both lightweight and medium weight projects. You can kind of force it to do some heavyweight stuff, but it's not its preferred medium by any means.
Yeah.
I think in our machine guide we list a presser foot lift of like 5/8 of an inch. Technically, you can get some material under there, and it'll try to sew it, but it's not gonna be real happy. Especially if it's like, a 1/2 inch thick of veg, it's not gonna like it at all. Is that sufficient, Tony?
Perfect, Clayton.
Thank you. I need a little reassurance every once in a while, okay?
Joshua did say though, cheating, you're not allowed to use a sewing machine in videos anymore, if that's cheating. If
Dang,
finding
dude.
rulers are cheating.
I don't know how long you want these videos to be. Alright, so I spread the glue on these 2 1/4 inches up. We're going to go ahead and slip the O-rings or round rings on, and then just flush up these edges and stick it down.
I'm going to sew this before this step here.
So on your flap, you've got it stuck together. Sew the perimeter.
Yep.
Yes, sir. And he's going to sew the perimeter of his closure flap. So while he's doing that, since we got picture in picture, I can kind of keep going here. I'm going to measure first 3/4 of an inch up from the point of this tab, and then 1.5 inches up from the point of the tab, and I'm marking the rivet holes that we're gonna punch. So first we're gonna go 3/4 up, and then 1.5 inches. Where we at here? Look at that, you already got the camera switch. How about that guy Tony with the fancy camera work? Staying in the center of the tab. You got our rivet holes. Alright, and then whenever we are ready. Now, is there guides for where to punch the rivets on the side gusset?
There's not.
There's not. Let's see if the instructions have anything to say about that. Find the center of the top edge of the gusset, make a small mark, then measure 1.5 inches down, make a mark. Now measure down another 3/4 and make a mark. Punch holes for rivets. Got all that?
Sure.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we find the center of our side gusset. So it is 3 inches wide at the top. We're going to mark, get out of here. 3 inches wide, so we're going to measure 1.5 inches from each edge. And then we're going to go down from that 1.5 inches. Make a mark. That'll be our first rivet hole. And then we're going to go down another 3/4 of an inch and make a mark. That'll be your second rivet hole. And then if you want to, you can kind of measure and verify that you're in the center. Down at this point where 1, 2, 3.5 inches in, so that would be 1 3/4 inches. We should be right there. Eyeball center. Looks good. And then same thing on the other side. And then after this, Andy is going to be rolling the edges of the exterior pocket, the back pocket. I'm going to start spreading some adhesive on that. I almost thought this bag was going to be a two-parter, but it looks like we'd probably get it wrapped up.
Oh, good. I'll have to make something up for Friday then.
Really?
Yeah, what are you guys going to do on Friday?
I don't know. We can come up with something good.
Talk about the bag format that you made?
Yeah. Did you expect this to be a two-part video?
Well, we talked about it yesterday being a two-part. I had it scheduled for 2 parts.
Did we?
But you don't have to.
Shucks.
I mean, you've only been working for 30 minutes.
I think it's going to come together pretty quick. Maybe I'm being optimistic.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah. Me and Andy have been working together for quite a while.
How long you been here, Andy?
I think today's like 90 days and a few.
Been working together for a while.
It's been a while.
Like days. Like lots of days.
Got to be such good friends. We dress alike all the time.
Had phone
Wear
calls,
the same
texted each other
shirts.
this morning. Hey, you good with yellow, bro? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yellow sounds sweet.
All right, you got some. All right, here, let me punch these up there. All right, you want to tell all the nice people what you did there?
We have to wait till the hair dryer goes off.
You can't hear us?
I don't know how well they can hear. Maybe here, turn the hair dryer on. Turn the hair dryer.
Quick experiment.
Oh, now you unplugged it.
There it goes.
Okay, now ask if they can hear you with the hair dryer on.
Can you guys hear us? There you go. Block it all out.
See, this is how I make one video turn into two.
So this is our back pocket, correct?
Yes.
So what did we do beforehand?
I skive the edges down, so when we turn them, and also clip the edges, so it comes together perfectly at the corners.
Nice point. So how far in did you skive?
Half inch.
And then how thin is that material at the edge?
I'm guessing it's probably about one and a half.
Okay.
It's about half the thickness of the material here. So.
And did you do that with a round knife or a super skiver? Or
I did that with a bell knife skiver.
bell knife skiver. Everybody watching today probably ought to buy one. You wouldn't regret it.
MP4.
NP4.
Well, listen, they can hear loud and clear.
Nice. Well done. Kudos to our audio engineer.
As long as he speaks up, we're pretty good.
So how far in did you clip the corners? How did you...
I have not, on the pattern, it says to clip little notches out of the corner.
the radius corner there?
I may or may not do it. I'll see here in a second.
If you get your material thin enough, usually you can get away without doing it. Otherwise, you can do some controlled wrinkles and then go back and trim it after you actually get it rolled. But in the pattern, yeah, it does actually call for you to go through and cut notches into that skived edge, just to get rid of some material and facilitate that rolled edge. On those clipped corners that you cut 45 degrees across, how did you know how much to cut it off?
I don't know if you can see it anymore. It's so.
Hold tight just a second before you explain that.
Okay.
That way I can see what you're doing. Will you hit 3? Oh, well, you can just do it from right there. No.
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
I took the handy dandy see-through ruler. You don't have to use the see-through ruler, but it's easy to just mark in a 1/4 inch, and I made a little box at the corner and then connected those two lines and cut that off. So it's just a 1/4 inch in from your edge and just 45 degree the corner.
Look at that, handy Andy, at it again.
We did have a question about the clear ruler. Do we sell those?
I don't believe we do.
We talked about making one out of acrylic and selling it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where that ever ended up.
Those things run on there forever. That's the big problem. with
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot of engraving time.
Sweet.
But
We don't sell those, but we do have them.
We do have clear ruler?
Yes, but not those ones. They're just like your generic 12-inch school ruler.
The bendable ones.
the opaque coloring, yeah.
Mhm.
No, I mean, usually you can get these acrylic rulers cheap enough at most craft stores. Or even fabric stores. They're,
Oh, there you go.
what are they called? Like a quilting
Joann's
guide or something?
Michaels,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hobby Lobby.
Midwest versions.
We
at
can't
least.
sell everything. Although if someone wants to put a bid on this one here, maybe we can sell Andy's.
Well, Clayton's moving to the Thursday live shopping show. I'm taking your highest bidder now.
This one was completely clear, and I took some acrylic black paint and rubbed it in all the grooves so you can see your lines a lot better on certain
Yeah.
colors.
All right, that's beautiful. Very good. All right, so back to the gusset. We have the tabs glued, folded over, the holes punched, corresponding holes punched in the side gusset. So what's next? Rivets.
Rivets.
So the instructions tell us to rivet these strap hangers onto the side gussets, and then we're going to actually stitch around them after they're riveted. That way they're in place. We're not going to move around whenever we're trying to stitch them down.
Abigail came up and said this is Gryffindor colors.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure that's what you were thinking.
That was,
Yep.
Yep.
That was
You guys
the plan.
guessed it.
Spot on.
Yep.
Abigail's a big hairy pothead.
Tune in Friday for the Slytherin bag. All the Snickers. Hilarious.
Snickers.
Snickers. You guys were snickering.
Oh. I thought maybe it was that Snickers commercial where you had to have a Snickers.
No.
Oh. I wouldn't mind for a Snickers right now, though.
Oh, we keep doing these videos right before lunch.
Or Zero Bars. I really like the Zero Bars.
Are those even still around?
Yeah!
No.
Blasphemy!
Where do you find a Zero Bar?
At the gas station?
I was like, most of my diet when I was like 12 was Zero Bars and Mountain Dew.
You want to relive it for a little bit? I'll
Maybe
get you
so.
a Mountain Dew and a Zero Bar.
That sounds pretty good. Anything sounds good right now. I'm getting hungry.
Any super snazzy tips for how to tell if your leather is heavy enough to stand up for your project? Maybe if they were
Super
shopping
snazzy
online too, how would you be able to?
Say that again. If you know your leather is heavy enough to stand up
Right.
once your project is completed.
Do they mean stand up, as in the bag will stand on itself?
That's
Or
what I'm
stand
guessing.
up as in it is durable?
I'm
How about we
guessing
go with it can stand? It can stand upright.
like the bag will hold shape. Well, so that's a tricky question because it really depends on the specific leather you're using. Because you could use, I don't know, a 3 to 4 ounce, upholstery type leather, and it's not going to stand up worth a darn. But if you use a 3 to 4 ounce veg tan, it will actually hold its shape. Also, just depends on the construction of the bag.
And your projects too.
Right. Depending on the, for this particular bag, you could use a veg tan leather. It would be a little bit more difficult on some of the seams, but it would probably stand up with a 3 to 4 ounce, especially if you're using something like Herman Oak, which is quite a bit more rigid. But if you're wanting it to stand up using an upholstery type leather, you'd probably want to put some stiffener in it. Basically, a lot of times people use the Bontex, which we cut the pattern pieces out of, as a bag stiffener.
So now we'll answer the other question. How can you tell if your leather is going to be durable?
So again, it depends on what leather you're using.
Well,
What tannage.
how would you pick something like I need this hip bag to be durable because it's going to be a dog training one.
Make sure you're using.
Cujo's going to be jumping up there trying to get the dog treats.
Sure.
It's a bad dog.
Absolutely. Well, make sure you're using full grain leather, right? Full grain is so much more durable than something like suede, or even a lot of corrected grain leathers or printed leathers. Using a full grain, you can use oil tan. It'll get scratched a lot easier. Annie, are we going to sew these? You want to sew those
Yep.
up?
If that's the next step.
I think so. Yeah, go ahead and stitch around those. So a lot of harnesses or oil tans are going to show scratches a lot more, but they've got an oil and wax content, so a lot of times you can condition them and get those scratches out.
If you used a harness, like say if you used a harness leather, even if you thinned it down real thin to make a bag like that, would it still would it still stand up to it even though you thinned it down?
Yeah, most harnesses are going to have a much firmer hand than something like this chrome tan upholstery type leather.
So we got a poll going on right now of everybody's favorite candy bar. We should have put a whiteboard up there and just started writing stuff down so you can take note of it.
I would go with Zero Bar if they still existed.
They do. I just got one the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Sent it to Sergey. Yeah. We got Reese's. I said Zero Bar. Milky Way.
Three Musketeers.
Chad said Milky Way Midnight or Carmelo.
Caramello.
Twix is good.
Three Musketeers.
Twix.
Payday's pretty good on occasion.
Payday's pretty good.
Nicky Sticks. First time chat.
You guys remember Chica Sticks?
Yeah.
I can't
What?
find them anywhere. Chica Sticks?
Oh.
I was
Chico Sticks or something?
Yeah.
They're like orange.
Yep. I used to get those at the pool all the time when I was a kid.
The pool?
The pool. I don't know. Specific memories.
Oh,
Just like sugar daddies.
I do love Sugar Daddies.
Just about
Little Fear likes Payday.
With the Butterfinger.
Any of the
scraps
different
and things.
Reese's bars are pretty good.
That's true.
I'm pretty sure Lil Fear likes payday when it's actually payday and the candy bar payday.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of both.
Cowtails.
Cowtails.
Those are so good.
Those are pretty good. Well, we could stay on this all day.
What about stuff like M&M's? That's like candy, but...
Sixlets.
Oh my gosh.
Don't get me started on sixlets.
Something to keep flock mouth with my scissors.
I have a weakness. There's two things that I have weakness I can't walk by and leave. Tootsie Rolls and Sixlets.
What about Whoppers? It's one of the most
I
divisive.
got Whoppers in my lunch today.
It's one of the most divisive candies.
Here, Clayton, you want some Whoppers?
I would take a Whopper.
All right, here you go.
Thanks, man. Give me something to do with my mouth.
That's what I need. Something to do with my mouth so I can shut up.
So how's stitching those tabs on with the rivets already set?
There's plenty of room here to go around them.
Is there a particular reason you're starting in the center?
Well, most of the tension's going to be on this spot, so by the time I get around, my back stitch will be there, so it's extra stitches in that most pulled on spot there.
And it's symmetrical.
Ooh, whatchamacallit? David Wells says whatchamacallit.
Yeah, those are good.
Michael Evans says Charleston Chews.
Ooh.
That's pretty old school.
Really good.
Like a 100 grand bar or something. I'm so hungry.
Mark says a cup of gold. I don't know what that. I mean, I would take a cup of
Where's
gold.
Mark from?
I don't know. Mark, where are you from? Almond Hershey's, Mr. Goodbar. Toblerone?
Oh yeah, those are good.
I never even heard of that.
Toblerone? Yeah.
Oh, how about Cadbury cream eggs? How do you feel about them?
I gotta be in the right mood for a good Cadbury egg, you know?
Yeah.
I'll eat just about any of them with a nice hot cup of coffee.
What about like a Mounds bar?
Yeah.
My
Almond Joy.
daughter loves Almond Joys.
Yeah, those are good.
Those are good.
I'm a big coconut fan.
Frozen Charleston Chews.
Ouch.
They're already hard enough.
I don't even know what Charleston Chew is.
It's like nougat, right? It's like white stuff that's been like dunked in chocolate. They're these little squares.
Fiero Rocher? I have no idea what that is.
That's one of those like. Those
Pierre
fancy
Rocher?
ones.
Sure. Oh, that was what Liz was talking about. Can you go that way a little bit? That was what Liz was talking about the other day.
Like Lindor truffle. Yeah, those are good. I think I've got some of those.
Those peppermint patties that are cold.
Yeah.
Those can be good sometimes.
Yeah.
Does anybody out there like crunch bars?
Crunch bars.
Yeah.
Yes.
I bypassed that in the Halloween bag this morning, a crunch bar.
Yeah, okay.
What about a Mr. Good bar?
Somebody said something about a Mr. Good bar earlier.
A classic Hershey's bar.
Baby Ruth.
Does anybody like Heath bar?
I used to
I
be on a
do
big
like
Butterfinger kick, but they kill your teeth.
Butterfinger Blast, that's what I get at Sonic.
Yeah.
That's about the only time I have Butterfinger.
Hey, look, guys, we're making a bag.
Feel like we're talking about chocolates, but that's okay. We're making a bag to put all our chocolates in.
All right, dude. Did you mark? Let's make sure we have our centers marked on our gussets. And oh yeah, we got to do the exterior pocket.
I can do this, and you can do that.
Thanks.
You got a stitch along the top here.
You got it. So Andy's gonna stitch the rolled edge on the top of our exterior pocket, and then we'll also get that sewn on to our bag back. While he's doing that, I'm gonna make sure we have the centers marked. Since we didn't notch our patterns, we'll mark the center on our bottom of our gusset.
great shot of your head, Clayton.
Thanks, man. Oh, you know what? I'm doing this on the wrong side. I mean to be doing this on the flesh side. Since this bag will be assembled inside out and then flipped.
Oh, that's nice and close up.
You see any more sawdust in there?
In your hair? Well, no, I switched cameras, but I can't see anything.
Yeah, I had a bunch of sawdust in my hair before this started and nobody told me.
It's called man glitter.
Man glitter.
Maybe they thought you did
I
them for
like this. 9.5, 4 3/4.
Man glitter. The age-old question was brought up, talking about like snack food type of stuff.
How do you feel about moon pies?
Yeah, that's all right. Let's
Like
move on.
I think that's a pass for all of us.
So we're making a bag. It's a nice Midtown bucket style bag.
Yeah, you're doing fine, Clayton.
Yeah.
We're trying to ruin our fun.
Well, that was quick, Andy. You want to go ahead and stitch that bad boy onto one of these panels here? Alright, so what's on that pattern there? Everybody see that? There you go.
Ignore the big hole. That's how I was hanging them up with the patterns here. So there's these two little holes right here.
Back pocket alignment holes.
And that should be the alignment for the... Oh, it's kind of hard to see on there.
What are you guys using to mark that stuff?
This is a silver marking pen. I don't know if these ones are water soluble, but a lot of the quilting ones are. These, and just normal eraser will get rid of them. But you line up your two tops of your pockets right here, and that's where you stick it. But I need to put some basting tape on here.
Now, so let me borrow that marked center. Bottom of this.
Clayton, I know you did this video, but Tori Jones is saying that she is making an Aussie style hat from some SP foot leather.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Aussie hat's a good project. We've done several of them. I'm glad we finally got around to doing a video on that too, because I feel like that helped the pattern quite a bit.
We need to adjust the pattern to put a QR code on so they can go to the link of the video.
Maybe updating a bunch of our stuff.
We are working on that.
We are updating
Our
patterns.
R&D department is getting reignited currently. I'm about to blow up, man.
Blowing up
So much collaboration, it's not even funny.
all the collaborations.
We're going to be going through and updating a lot of our patterns, our instructions, our kit instructions, coming out with some new products. Super exciting.
I got some projects on my phone, some videos to show you that would be cool.
Dude, we have no shortage of ideas, I will say that.
Oh, but I'm full of ideas and great ones too.
Okay, good ones. Yeah, yours are going to be really good.
I got this really cool chef knife roll that hopefully Andy will put together one day.
Yep, someday. Maybe this week.
Kind of like the Top Gun thing.
Alright, so we got the corners lined up with our back pocket alignment marks there and there. So hopefully it'll be straight and centered, and then we'll go ahead and stitch around the perimeter of this to make it an official pocket.
Official.
What type of thread are you using?
I'm using black 138.
Bonded nylon.
Oh yeah, what did we put on the cover video for that Aussie hat? Wasn't it? Oh, it was you wrangling an alligator with the Aussie hat on.
Oh,
We
yeah,
put
yeah,
your
down
hat
up
on
like Crocodile Dundee. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty good. That was one that I enjoyed. I always watched Crocodile Dundee growing up.
Clayton, you may not know this. Do you know? Have you seen the cane toad come in yet?
No.
It's probably sitting in the water somewhere.
I've not seen the cane toad come in yet.
Kerry Tergeron said, will we be releasing any digital download patterns?
Fancy. That's a question for you, Tony.
It is a question for me. We had to make some adjustments to the website extension that handles that. It had some issues on it. So getting that fixed and re-released to the production part of the website, and then we will be trying it out again.
That will be super exciting. I think we'll have a lot of fans of downloadable PDF patterns.
Yeah, I had somebody test it last time that was from Australia to work out some kinks, and that's what helped me find the mistakes that were in the extension. So to go back and get them adjusted. So we may need somebody to test it again.
Had to go all the way to Australia to find someone to test it.
Oh.
PDFs and maybe even SVGs for lasers. Maybe.
Well,
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. All right. So one thing we didn't do before, and I think it did say it in the instructions, but you guys know how we do things. We just need to set the other side of the clasp, the female part of the magnetic clasp, inside in the front panel of this bag. So I went ahead and used the pattern. It's got a spot to mark the panel for the magnetic clasp. I've got a dot marked on there, and I'm going to use it to the clasp itself to actually mark where the slits will go. Beautiful. And can I see your knife? We'll cut a couple slits in there. All right. And so now at this point, after I get this set, we're going to be ready to actually assemble the gusset to the front and back panel of the bag, correct?
Yep.
Awesome. So what's the next step in that?
If that is the next step.
Okay. Well, you just agreed with me.
I mean,
that sounds like the next
it could
step.
be a
Let's look at
step.
the instructions.
So that's something we could do. Let's just, okay, I get it. Trust but verify, right? I understand. All right, so you just sewed down the back pocket. I installed the clasp. Installing gusset to the bag. How about that?
Okay.
Place some glue 1/8 inch in and 1/8 inch in from the edge on one half of the bag. On the finished side, do the same to the gusset. Starting at the center notch of the bottom of the bag, line up the center notch in the gusset and begin sticking the pieces together, working from the center outward. Once stuck together, sew. After one side is done, do the same to the other. Did you catch all that?
Lots of words.
Absolutely.
Well, that's interesting.
So I do have your centers marked on the flesh side of each. Depending on how you go about this, you might want to mark it on the grain side as well, so that you know where to start sticking. You're going to use basting tape on this part?
Yeah, we could use basting tape, but the problem with glue, which I like using glue, you might get away from your edge a little bit, and when you're done sewing and turn your bag back out, right side out, there'll be some glue left on your bag.
So using 1/4 inch basting tape, you're going to want to do at least a 1/4 inch seam allowance, correct?
Correct.
Whenever you sew it. And that way you don't see any of that tape in your seams like Andy was talking about.
Look at this toad purse.
Oh my gosh. That's the whole thing.
That's the whole toad.
Wow. I would like to see how it opens.
Well, hang on a second.
They have one of the like the little coin purse frames or whatever. Open up the mouth.
Wow.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Okay, here you go. Here's this one.
It just looks like you're carrying a frog around, man.
Carrying a whole toad.
That's not even a bag. That's just a dead toad.
Well, here's the zipper part.
Oh, okay. I get it.
It's like a hip bag.
Is that a real toad?
You carry your toad treats in there.
What is happening?
All right, I'll share
Can you
this.
squeeze it like a coin purse and it opens up?
A little mouth. Drop insert coins here. Oh, David Wells says like a stocking type of video, making leather stockings.
Leather stockings.
that you can hang from the
Oh,
place with care.
right. Yeah. We could do that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be too bad.
We got some cool shearling.
Maybe that would be a good one to try out our downloadable PDF pattern on. A stocking pattern.
I mean, we have a bunch of patterns that are digital already. But I guess we could do a leather stocking one.
Just to debut it, something new.
Great suggestion, Clayton.
Thanks.
Clayton.
Alright, so once Annie gets this stuck down all the way around, and we're going to cross our fingers and hope that everything lines up the way it should. We're going to be moving on to making the zipper gusset. Now this is an interesting part of the bag, and probably one of the most misunderstood steps or components to be assembled. The way that it's done is a little bit weird. We'll get into that here in just a second.
You thought you'd get it done. We've managed to stretch this to an hour already.
Is it noon?
Andy, how are you ensuring that this is going to line up?
I always like to get it mostly done, but then half of whatever's left, stick your finished edge, and kind of like I did the corners on this piece, stick it down in sections, and whatever's left, try and spread that extra across what is left.
Yeah, kind of take up the slack on whichever piece, because it's difficult. Rarely will it line up just perfectly, right? Either you cut your pattern a little long, or the leather stretched a little bit, or it's just not quite perfect. And so there's always a little bit to be taken up, but usually it should be able to work itself out pretty well. So it's a bit of a process of sticking and unsticking in certain spots, and maybe doing a controlled wrinkle here and there.
Razor Blades checking in from Australia.
Razor blades
Oh, Tim.
come out to play.
Has anybody tried to make those leather bowls that we had with Marvin last week?
I haven't had a chance yet, no.
Wonder if anybody out there in the video sphere has.
A lot of those look pretty neat, though.
Yeah, it made people jog their creativity bug to come up with something new that they haven't really tried, and seeing how really easy it is.
Probably would have made a nice candy bowl.
But we still have them. I got no, they're right next to you.
Oh, wow. Why isn't there candy in these?
You were supposed to bring it.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
You probably don't get too many trick-or-treaters out at your house, do you?
No, not at all. I live in the middle of the woods.
Walk down the dirt road and keep walking into the woods.
Yeah.
You'll find Clayton's house.
Anywhere in the woods, doesn't matter. Just start walking into it. You'll find it.
If there's children walking on my road, then it's usually mine, and they're just don't even stop.
Oh, that's Terry Price is also. We have two people in Australia today.
Oh,
They're
nice.
talking to each other. Tim hasn't been on the live videos in a while.
Oh, those are neat. Neato.
Elizabeth said that she bought some plastic bowls to use as molds, but that's as far as she has got.
Nice.
Other than some.
Yeah.
Is there a reason you're hammering?
I'm hammering just to stick this tape a little bit better. See, it's coming apart there. So I don't have to use a bunch of like binder clips or anything else that you might normally use to help things stick together. There's one down.
All right, you want to go ahead and stitch that up? Yeah, like we said, you want to just make sure that we do a 1/4 inch seam allowance on those. That's an important part that a lot of first-time bag makers overlook. If either their glue line will go too far in on the finish side, and whenever you turn the bag out, you'll be able to see that glue, or you won't stitch quite past the tape. And finishing up in a whole bag and flipping it inside out to find glue or tape on in your seam is little discouraging.
All right, hang on, everybody. I'm gonna raise this up. Oh, yeah, you're good.
Jeez, you doing this on your cell phone, dude?
Yeah. I had a feeling the bag was gonna be up in the way. I'm trying to get over the top of it.
It'll really get in the way when I do my corner here.
Yeah, you just keep going. What happens, happens.
I think I made one of these bags about 6 years ago, 7 years ago. It's the last time I pretty well looked at this pattern since this morning.
Lil Fear was asking, if you do a 1/4 inch seam allowance, does that mean that you need to cut your material 1/4 inch bigger when you do it so that your bag comes out the right size?
No, sir, that is accounted for in the pattern.
Nice.
I'm going to go ahead and stick the zipper tab on the zipper. So we're just going to be using a black nylon narrow zipper tape. Tony, I'm sure has that item number for you.
It'll all be in the description once it's done.
So what time you guys been calling these videos? We've gone till 1 before.
Yeah. But this leaves us time to put the other side of the bag on. What else do we have left to do?
Yep, we'll do the straps, attach the closure flap, and then do the zipper gusset and the French rolled edge.
Oh, we got enough to put into another video.
All right. Maybe we'll just bring a little bit of fodder for next time in case it goes too quick.
We'll put up a whiteboard and we'll have another poll on what's everybody's favorite something.
Okay.
And then we can take up about 30 minutes worth of that. Get to know more about Andy.
Yep.
Maybe.
All right. You want to call it there? Oh, we're going to stick this on. Okay.
Stick the other side of the bag on. What time is it?
12:09.
Oh, we're doing great. Let's stick this side on.
Okay.
So we are this will put us almost a little over halfway through the instructions. We've got 9 frames here. We're on step 15.
Yep.
We're on step 15 in the instructions of 24. So this would be a good stopping point. Maybe we could talk about everybody's favorite ice cream next time. That'll take up plenty of time.
And ice cream toppings.
Mm-hmm.
Even more time.
Back into the candy bars.
Yes.
Yep. My wife made pancakes for dinner the other night. And I had the idea to let all of the kids pick out their own Halloween candy to put into their pancakes. Went pretty well.
Dad was a hero.
I was. That was a great idea. that Lauren? You have a guest appearance here? You can tell by her shoes.
Dang it. I'm not here.
Haven't you been doing some videos, Lauren?
Yeah, I did Wednesday, not last week, but the week before, with Denny. And then I don't think I did Friday. But I was here last Thursday with Tony.
It's getting some airtime. A little bit of a finger fight here.
Somebody said we should change our name to Cooking with the Clayton Clan. Talking about candy so much.
Or is it because I've been roasting Tony so hard? I can't hold up to Denny's insult capabilities.
Tony, people are excited about those bold pre-cuts.
Nice. No celebrity appearance this week.
I don't know about it. Too busy.
That sounds just like you.
Yeah, I know it. You making Andy do all the work today?
Yep.
What the chicken?
It's his first video. Can't do it all for him. He's doing great.
Did you tell him why you're doing that?
Yes.
I already covered that on the other side.
Okay, sorry.
So it helps the side, helps the leather stick together, and also kind of helps flatten out some of those wrinkles.
Do you have to use that type of hammer? Can you use anything you can find, or?
That hammer tends to work the best.
Yeah, you just want it to have a smooth head so you don't mar up your leather. I mean, I wouldn't use like a waffled roofing hammer or something.
Like a screwdriver, like I would?
Yeah, just stab it.
That's usually how I put nails in my walls, with a screwdriver. Because I can't find a hammer.
Someone needs to buy you a toolkit.
Yeah, I really need one.
Bye, Lauren.
Bye. Keep up the good work, Andy.
Thanks.
We twitching after this?
Yep.
Oh boy. Andy's first Twitch video too.
Well, he's on Twitch right now. You guys are on Twitch right now.
Yeah, but it's not exclusive content yet.
Not yet.
It really gets wild after we sign off the tubes. Chad, is that a new lava lamp?
No, it's the same one.
Alright.
What do you think of that canvas type of leather underneath the table there?
What did you just say?
Well, it's like canvas printed. Look at it.
Sir, that's rubber.
It's not rubber.
That's what it feels like.
It's from a bag and upholstery company.
Doesn't smell like leather.
Also doesn't smell like rubber though, does it?
You know what? I'll save my comments for Twitch. I don't know if they're appropriate right now. I don't know. I'd have to see how durable it is, because it's just a finished split, right?
I believe so.
Oh yeah. Finished. Printed split. It's interesting. Have to set up some sort of durability test for it. A lot of times with these finished splits, if they're not finished well, then they will start to disintegrate pretty quickly.
I took one of those rubber eraser things and rubbed it on there and just tried to rub a hole in it.
It's almost got a little bit of a pull-up, which is interesting. It's something else, I'll tell you that. Oh, is it gray? Well, now I like it.
Well, that's a horse of a different color.
Well, it's much better in gray. No, that's pretty cool.
Andy, what are you doing?
Sometimes on your back stitch, there's always a little bit of a loop. I just like to pull that out before I snip it and singe it.
Oh. Holly's awful concerned about what you're doing today.
My job. That's what they're paying me for. That's what I make the little bucks for.
That's right.
Charles wants to know, does it taste like leather?
Well, sign on to our Twitch channel, bud.
We did say it gets wild.
I don't know, some of these thread, when you burn them, almost smell like maple syrup. It's probably just the chemicals killing you,
Andy,
but
are you okay?
It's almost lunchtime, Andy.
Yeah. I know that candy bar was really nice, but...
It's a sign of stroke, sir. Bonded nylon does smell kind of sweet.
Is there anything you're looking out for while you're pulling those in?
I just try and get these corners out. I'm pushing them out with my thumb on the on these edges to get them to stick out quite a bit better.
I had a question of where Liz was earlier.
I don't know, that's top secret.
Not that top secret. She said where she was at last week.
Did she say it in the video?
Yeah.
Well, that's the reason to go watch last week's video.
Yeah.
So she was filling her belly in Las Vegas.
They went to a nice show. A bladesmithing show?
I'm sure they did. They've got to have some sort of reason for every vacation they take. They're such practical people.
Yeah, they can't just take a vacation.
No.
They gotta go
Does that stand up, Andy?
Good enough. Once we have the top in, it'll even stand out a little bit better.
Nice.
Good enough for Andy. You heard it here first.
Those are lovely colors.
Thank you. We did good. It'll be even better once we do the French rolled edge. It'll really start to pop. It's gonna be nice. Awesome. Is that where we're gonna leave it on
I think that's where we're at for this one.
the platforms? Yeah.
We'll be, if you want to continue on, we'll be over on Twitch for a little while. I think, Chad, what are you doing? Are you doing something, or are we going to do that template video?
Yeah, I can tool.
So Chad's going to do some tooling while you guys go get lunch, and then when you get done with lunch, and then we'll do our next step of processing. Those other acrylic template
The template videos? Okay. Is that gonna be on Twitch?
Yep. Well, no, that won't be on Twitch.
Okay.
Yep.
Throw me a curveball there. Awesome, guys. Well, join us next week for steps 16 through 24. It's going to be a cinch. We got the hard part done, I think. Lining up that gusset's pretty tough for some people, but Andy made it look easy. So, yeah. Tune in next week.
First one down, Andy.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yay.
Awesome, guys. Thank you.
All right, see you guys.